This is Designed Happy, the podcast where we talk about the human side of home design, remodeling, and new construction. I'm TJ.
And I'm Katie, and today we're taking a deeper dive into Designed Happy, the book's chapter on contract types. Hands up, everybody. But first, I just forced TJ into hitting record because we were getting into a really important conversation that I was like, we need to bring this to the people. To fill everyone in, you shared that you have a 3-pillow situation going on that is resulting in some really good sleep.
Yeah.
And you were sharing it like, what a crazy person. Like 3 pillows. Can you believe it? Oh, so much. No, TJ. No, because I think 3 pillows is the secret. My third, head, knee, right? And then I have one that I place my other arm on so that what's this muscle? Scapula? Your shoulder muscles?
Yeah, sure.
Like,
we're doctors.
I don't know if you've noticed. I've got really flexible scapulas. Which is another way of saying
not
just
something I've picked up on.
Overstretched. No part of my body is flexible, but my shoulders are like overstretched, like in a bad posture way.
What a superpower.
Thank you. I've been waiting for someone to recognize it in that way. So that my arm, oh gosh, how am I going to describe this? My arm has to be propped up so that my scapula aren't having to stretch all night. So that's my third pillow is like an arm bolster. And I stand by it. It makes it hard because I like toss and turn. So all
need
night
a fourth pillow. That's where this is going. You need a 4th pillow.
I need a fortress I need a crib. This is what I need a design around a crib.
Oh my gosh.
Design around.
I feel like this is one of those tell me you're middle-aged without telling me how old you are. I have a pillow to help my overly flexible scapula.
I stand by it. If this is middle-aged, then I'll take it because at least I'm sleeping kind of comfortably 60% of the time.
You know what? Like
those odds are pretty good.
They are. Look, the 3rd pillow, honestly, changed my life. No hyperbole. It's if you told me 20 years ago, it's like, hey man, when you're gonna get to a phase in your life when you need 3 pillows that aren't under your head to get a good night's sleep. And I would have been like, that's a ridiculous sentence. That's not something that real people do. but here we are.
You would have been like, get away from me, old man. Get off my, like that. But now I see like people who don't sleep with at least 2 pillows. I'm not like watching people sleep.
You're peering through their windows and how many pillows
hobby.
Do they have?
Get in the car. Get in the car. It's a great time of year to do it. Lights are on inside, dark outside. Can see it. But like looking at how my kid sleeps, I'm like, oh, how beloved Mark Cashin sleeps. Like I guess that they have the benefit of being able to sleep anywhere, which I can't do because
that's a real superpower. What a life that must be.
What a life. What a life.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the fun. Today, no, really. You may have tuned into this podcast or chosen not to tune in because of we're talking about contract types, but we swear it's going to be fun, right? Right?
I don't know. We just had that whole episode about trust.
And you want to be honest here.
And listen, this is important, and if we could make it fun along the way, then great.
Oh my gosh. We're like the cool teachers right now who were like, guys, we just got to learn it for the test. Okay. You're gonna, I know, just stick with me. And then we'll watch a movie after, but
Yeah.
stick with me.
Once we understand the allegory of the cave, then we can do the fun stuff. Just
We can, that's right. Then I'll give you candy. But no, I think that is why, as the person who wrote the outline for this and said we're
mhm.
doing this episode, because this is the chapter in the book that I was like, yawn, yawn. But by the time,
Thanks.
I think it was at the back of the napkin section where I was like, I was in. I was like, tell me more. I was on the
Mm.
edge of my seat. And it does fall into the category for me of things I'd imagine people don't know they have some choice around or that there are options. And therefore, it feels pretty important for people to know about this. And as it's okay. This is going to test my memory of the book. As it is ordered in the book, it comes before choosing a professional, right?
Oh, as you would think, as someone who wrote
Hey,
the book,
author of
you'd.
the book, did it cut? Okay, let's say it comes before choosing a professional because you also want to know about this before you
Yes, it
seriously
does.
get into the. Okay, good, good, good. I'm glad that
Yeah,
checks out. You
yeah.
want to know about it before you get into the serious consideration of the professionals you're working with, which, as I say it out loud now, means we should have recorded this episode a long time ago. People are going to be writing in like the whole thing's ruined now. Can you start this party off, TJ? Can you just insert like some fun? Yeah, start 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 us off with the type of contract options, or like if that's not where you want to start us off somewhere else.
um, well, this was news to me too. When I like, I didn't start knowing them all.
Okay.
Like, and there's all kinds of nuance. So this is by no means meant to be like an exhaustive list of every type of contract, but this is like the handful of the main ones that you'll run across.
Yeah.
But I thought, oh, fixed price contract. That's that's the way it's done,
Hmm.
and it's very much not the way it's done. In a fixed price contract,
Wait,
I
could you be a little bit more dramatic and suspenseful with that? Uh,
oh.
this is how I thought it was done. Dun, dun, dun. But it's not. More after the break. Fake commercial break.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Oh, you know what we should do until we have a sponsor? You and I should write SNL type commercials and just put them in.
I'm gonna
Um,
need to watch more SNL, but I think I know what
yeah,
you're okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Because
Like,
I'm thinking I really am middle aged. I'm like Prairie Home Companion. Com- Catch up, catch up, catch up. If anybody out there knows what I'm talking about, let's be friends.
oh
Keep
my
going.
gosh.
You thought there was only one type of contract, fixed price, but he was wrong.
That's it. That's it. You should do movie trailers.
In a world
Yeah.
where turns out this is our most fun episode. For the TJ, would you please stop distracting us? Continue.
I'm sorry. Fixed price contracts. The home of peace of mind. So that's what I thought all contracts were, because I, in my naivety, I was like, that's the best for clients. Fixed price. They know exactly what it's going to cost. So obviously that's the best.
Is that also what is most commonly used? Is that why you also thought
No, it's because that's the way
that's
the
not it?
place that I worked did it. So I was like, oh, e- everybody must do it the same way this one place does it. And it sounded nice. Like I didn't start at that. I started at that place as a designer, but as we've established, I became a commissioned salesperson, and like it was easy to talk about contracts because I could say it's a fixed price contract, so you're going to know down to the penny what it costs. It
Yes, but
sounds right. It's
but TJ had not ventured out into the world yet. Okay, continue.
um, so that place that I worked
Yeah,
has other types of contracts that they just never talk about or rarely talk about.
sounds like this was on them.
It, and eventually, somebody was like, "Oh, yeah, we can just do that T&M," and it was like, I, I, I don't know what T&M means.
Oh, I know because it's in the notes.
I thought it was the letter T, the letter N, and then the letter M.
Yeah.
T and M. Like I was like, all right. I was like, all right. What are those acronyms? I don't I don't know. Like
This, I feel like, TJ, I think you were getting hazed. Like, one, they were like, guys, don't tell TJ about the other contracts. Two, when you do, drop the acronym, but don't acknowledge that he doesn't know what it is. He has to make it up.
yeah, yeah. Just do a flim flam contract. That's easy for this situation.
Yeah.
um,
And there he was.
oh my god, I got to tell you about this prank that we did. Because we did haze somebody and it was Cat's aunt, and I love this story so much, and I
That's not
tell it.
hazing if it's a family member.
Yeah, I mean it was a prank. So we have a microwave drawer in our kitchen, and
Ah, an appliance garage. Yes.
no, not an appliance garage.
Mm. Now I'm being hazed. Okay,
Yeah,
go on.
it's a microwave drawer, so it's in a base cabinet, and when they first came out, they had a handle, so you could push the open button or you could pull the handle.
Okay.
And then they were like, wouldn't it be cool if this thing didn't have a handle? So then there was a little, like in the center on the top, there was a little panel, and you pushed it and the controls popped out, and you could see that it was like something to touch. And then they were like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if you couldn't see the thing to touch, but people will just know? So then like the whole top piece of metal, you touch it. So there's no seams. You just have to
Okay.
know to
And this is
touch it. The
microwave.
mic the microwave drawer. Yes.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
it's built into the base cabinet. So it's
Okay.
this. So Kat's aunt comes over. She's never been at this house we're in, and she likes to give me a hard time.
Oh,
Kat
oh,
and I have
okay,
been
okay.
together for forever. I used to have earrings. She ridiculed me for, like, she just like my hair was longer. She was like, "Oh, how's your bowl cut?" Like she just gave me such a hard time. So
You are dropping too much
no.
information, new
so,
information.
so, so I gotta
Keep going, or we're gonna need to know about the
uh,
earrings.
it,
Go.
I had
So,
earrings when you met me. You just don't remember.
yeah.
So
On
Karen came
purpose.
to you blogged it out. So Karen came to our house,
Yeah.
and she was like, "Oh wow, what's that?" She pointed at the microwave. So I was like, "This is my chance. I will exact revenge right now." So I was like, "Oh, Karen, that's our voice activated microwave." And she was like, "Oh, wow. You have the coolest
TJ.
stuff. I've never heard of that before." And I was like, "Yeah, you just, you talk to it and it'll open. You can tell it how much time you want it to cook for." She was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, just tell it to open." She was like, "Microwave, open." I was like, "Oh, maybe it probably can't hear you. Maybe you should get closer." So she got closer. She was like, "Microwave, open." I was like, "Maybe it's your voice. I don't know." Like, so she got like right next to it, and she was like talking
She's
to her.
like,
She's like, "Microwave,
microwave?
open." Yeah. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, Karen, I forgot. We're trying to teach the kids how to be polite, so you have to say please."
Had you thought this
So
whole thing out? When you're saying you
no,
were
no, it was just nope. It was just we
on the
were in
fly.
it and like yeah, on the fly. So like just imagine
Cold TJ.
um yeah, so it's like she was probably 50 at the time. So it's like a 50-year-old woman and like she's got her hands on her knees, bent down, talking to a microwave and now she's yelling at it. "Microwave, please open." And that was the end of it. I was like, "Oh my god." I was cracking up. Kat was cracking up. Um
Do you want
so
us to be on your side here? Is this that you're like,
no, no, no. It's
you
just
don't
like
need us? I
you
love it.
you know what? You said it. You said I was being hazed, and I was like, "You know what? That reminds me when I
You're
got
like,
I got
no.
Karen real good."
Maybe I was, but let me tell you about this time where
Yeah.
I was the bully.
Uh-huh.
Um, so
T&M.
this episode is not about contracts, but T&M means time and materials.
Yes. So T and A-N-D M, time and materials. So different type of contract.
Yeah, why isn't
You're
it
shaking your head.
T&M if a P&L is profit and loss?
Yeah. What?
Why isn't time and materials T&M?
I don't know. Maybe you should write a letter.
To who? Um,
I felt like you would know. I don't know.
now, now I'm being a jerk. So tell us about this type of contract.
So, fixed price contract, you know exactly what the project is going to cost before you sign the contract. So, it puts the risk on the contractor.
Okay.
If you're doing a really big project, that's a great place for you, the homeowner, to put the risk. If you're doing a really small project, that could be a bad place for you to put the risk because there is a cost, a dollar associated with that risk. If the builder is taking the risk, they're going to charge more because it's riskier for them.
Yeah.
If it's something simple for a contractor to do, so like we've talked about like replacing a toilet before, for a homeowner who might not know the difference between a 12-inch rough-in and a 10-inch rough-in, maybe that's a project they don't want to do themselves. For a contractor, they should know. So it would be totally reasonable to sign a time and materials contract to do something small. So the way that works is you are paying for somebody's time plus the materials and a markup. It's very straightforward. So they charge whatever, make up a number, $100 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So if it takes them 3 hours, you're going to pay them $300 for the time. And then you're going to, whatever kind of toilet you pick, you're going to pay them for the toilet plus a markup. So $200 toilet plus a 20% markup or whatever it is I should have given myself easier math, $240.
You're you're on your own. This sounds like the like mechanic model
Yeah,
of like,
yes.
okay,
Yeah.
maybe we should start calling it that. Okay, so you're gonna right. It's gonna be all of those added in. Why is this one called the Oh by the way?
Yes. So here's so that you wrote this on the notes. It's in the book. So
Because I read the book. Yeah.
yeah, thank you. You're the one. So you're doing the big project and you sign a fixed price contract.
Yep.
Every time I sold the project as a salesperson, there were things that people wanted to include, additional things, little things. Hey,
Things come up.
the shutters on the house need to be repainted. Is that something you can do? Or even smaller than that, like the bedroom door sticks when I close it in the summer.
Yeah.
Like so,
That's just inherent in a larger project. You right? That is going to happen.
yes, it will. So I started calling it the oh by the way list
Mhm.
because when you trust us and we're in your house, oh, by the way, while you're here, I've
Yeah.
been meaning to figure out how to get that door unstuck. I don't know why it sticks in the summer. Is that something you can help with? Yeah, of course. The wood swells in the summer. Let me shave a little bit off the top, and then it won't rub on the door jamb in the summer anymore. So
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
so I would set that expectation. This is totally reasonable. You have a list of stuff. Those little piecemeal things that aren't part of the core project, they're sort of hard to estimate on their own, and they're going to slow us down getting to the thing that you really want to do. So let's put that on the oh by the way list. And then while we're there doing the work, we can knock those out one at a time.
Okay.
And that kind of thing is perfect for time and materials because it's simple. It's easy to explain what the project is. It's easy for the contractor to understand it. It's easy to get a sense of how many hours it's going to take. It's safe.
And perfect and safe for all involved, or is there like does one side of this benefit more than the other?
So, no, safe for all involved. And
Okay.
really, when I'm talking about safe, I'm always talking about it from a homeowner's perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's not a lot that can go wrong with signing a time and materials contract to shave a little bit off the top of a door. Right? Like if you signed a fixed price contract for that, it costs more. It always
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
it will be less expensive for you and there's not a lot of risk involved. So a time and
Got it.
materials contract makes a lot of sense for a project like that.
So what else do we have? What ones are we missing? Because I'm not looking at the outline right now.
Yes. Yeah, there's several, but before we move on, let me tell you, like, just like the fixed price contract might not be the right fit for a really small project, a time
Uh-huh.
and materials project is not the right fit for a bigger project. There are some contractors that only use time and materials contracts because it's good for them because they know exactly how much money they're going to make every hour they work. There's no risk involved for the contractor. The
Okay.
homeowner is taking the risk on a time and materials project. So if you're going to do your kitchen in a time and materials contract and you don't know any better, and all of a sudden there's termite damage behind the walls, or
Right.
even worse than that, there's mold, and now the mold needs to be remediated. Like, and all of a sudden, there's a lot more time involved.
Okay, I have a question that you might ask me to hold it, but it sounds like you really need to consider the scope when you're looking
Yeah.
at yeah. Um, what is the difference between a TNM
Hmm.
and a back of the napkin, or are they the same?
No, they're not the same. So a back of the napkin could apply to anything. So back of the napkin would sort of be like, at this point in time, we don't know
Okay.
everything yet. So, I go to, like, I talk about back of the napkin stuff all the time, very early in the process, because people want to know, what is this going to cost? And the honest answer is, I don't know yet because there's 1,000 decisions that we need to make together,
Yeah.
including who you're going to hire to build it. What level of service do you want to buy? So like if you buy this level of service back of the napkin, you're probably talking about a range between X and Y. If you're going to the Home Depot parking lot, that's cool. I don't want to be involved in that type of project because it's harder for me to make sure you have a good experience, but go
Yeah.
ahead. If you want to do white glove, we can do that. It's probably 2x to y, whatever. I'm just making something up, right? So that's sort of the back of the napkin, back of the envelope is like, what kind of general order of magnitude budget range are we talking about for this
Yeah, so
project?
that can be used in a context, but that should not be your contract. Your like,
Right.
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
got it.
nobody is like writing like 150 to $200,000 and then you're like, here's my signature and a deposit
On
check.
the napkin.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Yes. So
What if
that's
we what
go
if
ahead.
we missed? What if we not?
So there's a couple other ones. Fixed fee can be confusing because it's different than fixed price.
Yeah.
So fixed price is where you know exactly what it's going to cost before construction starts. Fixed fee is the builder is going to do everything at cost. So there's no markup. So if the toilet costs $500, you're going to pay $500.
Mhm.
If um, the wrong toilet gets purchased, you're going to buy a new toilet. Like whatever the costs are, they're the costs, no markup. And then the builder knows exactly what the fee is going to be from the beginning. So if you're building a bespoke house in the DC metro area and you're talking to a builder who does a fixed fee contract, the fixed fee might be $200,000. And that's the builder's fee for their service to build you that house. And that is completely outside of whatever the costs of construction are. The site work, the demo, the lumber, the framing,
Mhm.
labor. So you're paying for all of that stuff. So the builder knows before they ever do anything, they're guaranteed to make $200,000.
Is this the contract type most builders use?
I don't know that I would say most, but
Okay.
some do. This is to me, this is similar to time and materials, where it's like if I was building a house, I would never sign a fixed fee contract because it puts me at the most risk. Like
Okay.
there's no like inset. Like I would rather opt in to paying more for the builder to take the risk in case something goes wrong. But that speaks to my comfort level with risk. Like when Kat and I built the house that we live in now, it's on a really steep slope, very hard lot to build on.
Mm.
The builder offered us, said we can do fixed price for everything except the site work. I don't know what the site work is going to be yet. Um, and Kat and I were both like, well, we'd actually prefer for that to be included in the fixed price. And he was like, okay, I'm taking the risk. So I'm going to charge you more because I don't know yet. And we were like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
perfect because we weren't comfortable with the risk. So he charged us more than he thought he should based
Mhm.
or he maybe that's an unfair way to say it. He charged us more than he thought it was going to cost. So he could it's like CYA, right?
Yeah. Yeah, where you're willing to pay for CYA and where you feel open to waiting and seeing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So uh, none of these are inherently good or bad. Like fixed fee, totally fine. If
I
you're
wasn't even gonna ask, TJ. I wasn't even gonna learn my lessons.
um the last way to explain it, or last contract type that's worth talking about, it's called cost plus. It's sort of like time and materials,
Mhm.
where basically it says every single dollar that gets spent, we're gonna collect a dollar and 25 cents or whatever the plus is. So whatever their markup is, 30%, 20%, 40%, I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, this is a very safe way for the contractor to do it. It doesn't guarantee them a specific fee, in dollars, but it guarantees them a specific percentage above the cost.
Yeah. Okay. I'm really basic back to the beginning question. When people are looking at professionals, um, is it common practice for them to name and explain the type of contract, or they just send the contract over?
Oh, nobody ever explains it.
Okay. Okay.
As soon
Yeah.
as you explain it, you need to justify why you do it that way.
So anyone who's tuning in for continuing education credit to this episode, I guess I like it sounds like if first get the book and read the book. This is one of those places where like the book is really helpful, especially in the vignettes that you go through in there as to how this actually shows up in the process. But more so, if you're still not getting, if it's like, oh, this is a whole new, this is a whole new y- area of study for me, and I don't get it. Like to at least ask, and then be able to go and do some research on the type of contract, to at least ask who you are considering working with, and knowing that that comes up in like choosing a professional and that kind of discernment process. But if if you're not memorizing, if you're not like TJ, and you can't just take things into your memory, oh, that happened. We talked about that before. That's before we were on. TJ was mentioning that in as a student, he could just hear things and like integrate it into his memory and learning. Like
When
that's
I was
amazing.
young, I can't do that anymore.
Well, and if you are listening and you also are not just absorbing all the contract types, it sounds like the most important thing is if it's not being offered to ask and then to go do your research.
And then a great follow-up question when you're talking about it is what happens when something goes wrong?
And
So
and if they say nothing will go wrong, hang up the phone or walk out of the office.
that's right. And the reason I like fixed price so much, and again, it's not the right contract for every situation, but it is better for most, is it puts the professional at risk.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who do this every day. So they should be the ones that are, my opinion, they should be the ones that are holding the risk. The person who's least qualified to make the decisions is the person who does it infrequently, which is you, the client. Like you shouldn't be the person that's holding the risk. And a lot of these contracts put the risk with the client.
Yeah.
Um, Now, again, it's not meant to be a blanket statement because there are projects where it does make more sense to pay the T&M because it's a small, predictable project and you don't need to pay the extra markup for the peace of mind to place the risk with the builder or the contractor. But a lot of it has to do with how do you feel about what happens when something goes like if the answer is what happens if the toilet gets put in the wrong place? If it's let's see, if it's
Yeah. What does
cost
happen?
if it's cost plus or time and materials, you pay for every hour or you pay a markup on every dollar, right?
Yeah.
So that's your risk. If it's fixed price, then it's hey, listen, you put the toilet in the wrong spot, move the toilet. Right? Like
Hmm.
there's no conversation. It's very cut and dry. Like some of the other contract types, you leave yourself open to having to negotiate. It's like, well, like I, I didn't ask you to put the toilet in the wrong spot. Like, why should I be paying to fix something that wasn't my fault? But if that's
Yeah.
what the contract says, like if you,
That's your why. That's the
uh,
why you should.
right, like
Yeah.
if you're paying
Yeah.
25% on every dollar that gets, there's no, I don't want to say there's never, but there's often not another clause that says, unless it's our fault.
I think
Um,
this We need an episode dedicated to things will go wrong. Because this sounds like it comes back to these contracts work. Some of these contracts work if you were living in the non-reality of everything will go as expected, everything will go as written, as planned. Yeah, I would like I vote for an episode of, on how things go wrong. Sylvia, what do
It'll
you say about that? Producer Sylvia? She gives it the thumbs up. She thinks we should too.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. I think this was a pretty important episode, and I think we had some fun too.
Yeah, sure. Unexpected hazing conversations. Yeah.
Um mhm.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, no accents. No accents
You
through this
know,
whole.
that's disappointing.
Yeah, well, so stay tuned because next time,
It's the all
all
accent
accents
episode.
episode. Amazing. Okay, is that all for now?
We did it.
We did it. Till next time.
See you then.
Bye.